Hi, everyone. This is Kristen Sullivan with Just as Planned Wedding Podcast. And today I am joined by Melanie from Lemon Drop in St. Pete, Florida. Hi, Melanie.
Hey, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fabulous. Loving this cooler weather we're having.
Yeah, it's a little warmer today, thankfully. I'm not a cold weather girl. I like it cool, but like a
Not cold.
sweatshirt, not like boots.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. We're meant to help brides and grooms plan their weddings and just share our knowledge with them to help them get through maybe some of the hurdles that we're seeing these days.
okay.
And it's been a tough year and a half for us, two
Yes.
years, and we're still kind of on a little bit of a roller coaster. So I first want to just start. How many years have you been in the business?
We have been in the business for 8 years.
8 years. Okay.
8 years.
So we've had some good times and some bad
Yes.
times then.
Yes. Yes. And it all started with my niece. She was getting married and she called up and said, Aunt Mel, I need help. So that's how it all started. And the rest is history.
I love it. And I've been to your shop and it is so amazing. Flowered by everything he's
Yeah.
making.
Very creative, artistic man. So
And that's great because it
yeah,
carries over obviously into your business with, I know we've got a custom arch coming up with you that
yep.
he's building. And so I imagine it comes in very handy.
Yes, it does. So we always tell him if you can dream it, he can build it. So I love that.
I love that.
So
That's
it was really great because we were able to, what a great partnership because we both work full time in this business and I honestly could not do it without him because he has such vision and talent. He can make and build anything and everything. So it's a lot of fun. We get to do a lot of unusual, different things.
I love that. I love it so much. It's like a real life interest coming
Yes.
coming all together, which can be kind of a thorn in our sides, right? As
Yes,
planners and
absolutely.
creatives, because we have all of these people come to us with these very high expectations of these perfectly planned
Right.
photo shoots.
Exactly.
And they think that we can just make that happen. And we do our very best to do it. But obviously, I love Pinterest, but it definitely challenges us on every side of the creative.
Absolutely. Because, they definitely come in, they see this gorgeous tablescape, as you know. And so in our side of the business, we do both planning and florals. And as you mentioned, the gift shop. So these couples will come in and it's gorgeous what they're bringing us, but they have a $5,000 budget and the flower table, on that one table alone is could be up to $1,000, $1,500 for that one tablescape because so that is when we don't like Pinterest because we have to tell them that that is so outside of your budget. We can scale it way, way, way down because they might only have $150 a table to decorate. And we've done the $1,000 arrangements and they are stunning, but we can also make things that are in their price point. So
Yeah, and that look very similar,
yes,
correct?
yes,
So, and you often also, I imagine, substitute flowers. So if somebody
yes,
comes in with something exotic and hard to find, hard to get these days, which I know you're going to talk about,
right.
maybe something else in that same color palette or that same look, feel, size.
Right, right. And I think a lot of couples too, they think because you're using greenery, like heavy greenery, does it help in the cost of an arrangement? Absolutely. But greenery is very expensive as well, like the eucalyptus and the Italian ruscus, some of the higher end greenery, monstera leaves, the big monstera leaves can run 20 to $30 a stem because and they think tropicals, we're in Florida, tropicals are not inexpensive. It's not like we live in Hawaii. These are being flown from Hawaii and Colombia and Ecuador and all these other countries to here. And it makes tropicals very expensive as well. So that is something that I want, I would love to help educate, the couples with, is just greenery is not as cheap of an option as you might think it is.
It's so true. I often have people say, well, we picked Florida because we can just get some flowers, some birds of paradise, and all of these, beautiful flowers that you have there. And I'm like, that's just not how it works.
Right. Oh, I know. And we had this young lady come from Hawaii to get married here because this is where she grew up. And she was so used to tropicals being so inexpensive. But when she got here, she was just like, wow. So, and different regions and different parts of the country, we do have, and I'm sure you do as well, have a lot of destination weddings. And they might come, if they're coming from bigger cities, the prices are probably comparable. But if they're coming from, a little town in Alabama or Tennessee or, some place like that, the flowers and the price of things is not going to be as much from where they come to how we have it down here.
Yeah, so true.
So many factors.
So many factors. And we talked earlier about just the availability to get things these days has changed so much. It's a little scary on everything that's going on. Building materials, florals.
Glassware. I mean, we are having a shortage of glasswares. We always provide our brides a cylinder vase when they have their bouquet so that it, is still hydrating and drinking that water right up until it's time of the wedding. We're having issues even finding that kind of stuff. Foam and cages that things are made in. It's just, and the prices have skyrocketed. So that vase that we used to get for maybe $4, now we're having to charge $6 for that vase just because of everything that has gone on in the world, and flowers as well. So, we get our flowers from Ecuador and Colombia. We bypass the middleman and go straight to the farms. And so that means that your flowers, if you're using us, will be fresher and newer than most, because they're cut. Then within 3 days of the flower being cut, we have the flower in-house, hydrating and ready to use it and create all the beautiful things that we create. But the process to get it from the farmers, to get it on an airplane, to get it and fly across to another, country, and then ship it out of, it has to go through customs like everything else does. Then to get those flowers on another truck to send here, or even on a plane. Some of our flowers we fly in from California. We use a company out there that has, locally grown flowers in California. It is mind-boggling, the process. So when people have got to understand, before that one little rosebud gets to me so that we can create, it has gone through heck and back to get here. And, it's just crazy.
And we also have the issue now of shipping. Like, I know I've got a neighbor that works at the port, and he's telling us, ships are just sitting out there and not able to actually come in and unload and go through customs. And I know I've been speaking to another person in the industry that has this big wedding coming up, and like you, has products sitting on those ships that they have access to. So such a crazy time. Oh, it's okay. We love dogs. My dog will probably stop barking too.
Okay. They'll have a little conversation amongst themselves.
It's okay. It's real world, people. We're bringing you live information, and you can tell by our little dogs with us. So it's just a really different time. Whereas before, we would never have, in my history, 25 years, never had to experience anything like this.
Right. And also, I would like to stress to couples that might be watching is that you really need to be open to what the florist has to say when it comes to flowers. because I can order all day long our wish list. But for example, I have a shipment coming in today, and she texted me yesterday saying, Melanie, this didn't get here. This isn't available. They promised us it's not here. So I have this to substitute. It's the same color. It might be a little lighter. It might be a little darker, but this is what I can do. So everybody has to realize that there are substitutions that for probably the foreseeable future that are going to have to be made because they just can't get the products.
Yeah. And it's double the weddings. People
Oh
think
yeah.
that the world, reopens, 75%, I guess. And it just went back to normal, but we have all of these rebookings and then we have all of this new business and
Right.
just trying to keep up. And that's
Right.
another thing is there's a shortage of product because we are double the business right now.
Right. And also those farmers in countries like Colombia and Ecuador, they lost pretty much everything during the pandemic. So that 2 weeks, which led into months and months and months, they didn't have the farmers there to prune, to water, to grow, to do the things. And some of them lost everything and they're having to start over, and they just don't have that production available yet. So, and things have changed, and we're doing our very best to get you what you want, but there will be substitutions. Probably 80% of the time there, you wanted this brand of rose, but you're going to get this brand of rose.
Yeah. It's so true, but it's so great to have a professional to be able to give you those alternatives versus you trying to source these things yourself. And I've heard stories about people trying to, buy things on their own online, and it's going to run into the same thing. They're going to supply their people that are buying all of the time first before they're doing one-offs. And
exactly.
I do try.
And that's for us too, is why it's basically with these flower farms, first come, first serve. So that is why we have a policy that we submit all of our orders. We do our very best. Sometimes, we can't, but we try to get those into the farmers a month before the wedding. And that gives us a better shot than somebody that submits what they want a week before a wedding. And we could even do it sooner if we have the availability, if we have the staff to, because everything is so crazy. But again, it's not flowers in our florist. It is not flowers that we use in the everyday cooler for just a birthday, an anniversary, or an I love you bouquet, or it is, we special order flowers just for your wedding, and they get used just for your wedding. So that is why it's so important that we really don't allow a lot of changes to be made after 6 weeks to a month out, because we have to get these flowers ordered or we're not going to get them. So it's
crazy time.
I know. And with the pandemic, took all the precaution, we dropped flowers outside of doors and knock and ran and those kinds of things. But, that was the one thing that people still could do, is send flowers. We thinking of you, we love you, we miss you. So we were very, very blessed. God blessed us in that sense, that we didn't lose every drop of income. But we also only had like maybe me, my husband, and our business partner in there doing these flowers. We couldn't have all our employees in because we were trying to be really careful with that. So yeah, it's tough. It's been a tough year or 2 years, but I think we're on the rebound, at least I feel like in our business, we're having more inquiries than we've ever had for the planning and, florals, and even our gift shop. We're really you know, we have this little very lavish, unique items, and that is really starting to boom as well. And so that's a good problem to have, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing. Tell me, so one of my favorite things that I've seen that you have done is the piece that you did at the Don Cesar Resort in St. Pete. Was it a peacock or a flamingo?
Yes, and that was actually at the Vinoy.
Oh, at the Vinoy, sorry.
At the Vinoy. They're both pink, right?
They're both
Yes.
pink.
So Penelope the peacock is what we named her. She, in the garden at the Vinoy, is their tea garden, and that is, you know, iconic, with that big, huge, gorgeous pink building behind. Well, I had a dear friend of ours who was also, I've known her since she was a baby. She was getting married, and she gave me, this is how much, you know, she trusts us and loves us. And we love it when people give us creative freedom to do these unusual, cool things. With Penelope, we created, I wanted to do something different there. Everybody has done, you know, the flowers on the arch and the candles and the things. Well, Penelope was 25 to 30 feet long. She had over probably 1,000 to 2,000 flowers on her, with her tail, you know, swooping down. Maybe you can put up a picture and let everybody see it.
Yes.
We propped her on the fountain on the very top. My husband, you know, I told him what I was thinking in my head, and he's learned to not even say you're crazy anymore. He just learns how to do it. So we had a body of a peacock. We had, and it was all in the pinks, different shades of pinks and whites, and it was just absolutely stunning. She did not eat, this was a surprise for her. She did not even know we were doing this. Her entire family almost fell in the floor when they saw it. They were loving it. They were amazed. And it has now, those photos have been reposted on so many, I bet you 50 different international companies has taken Penelope the peacock and reposted that in every, you know, blog and things like that. So it's fun to be able to think outside the box and not do the same everything. Now, granted, you have to have a big budget sometimes for something like that. Penelope was not cheap. She was thousands and thousands of dollars, but it was, you know, that is what we really love, is just to come up with something unique and different. So it was really awesome.
I mean, the pictures are amazing. I obviously did not see it in person, but oh my goodness, I'm still obsessed with the pictures. And for all of you watching, we will be posting a photo and all of Melanie's information so that you can reach out to her with the podcast.
Yeah. So
do you also do destination weddings, Melanie? Do you go outside of St. Pete?
Yes, we have. And we would love to get into more of that. We have done destinations within Florida, like we've gone to Miami area. We did flowers for a TV personality, Vanessa Morgan. Now she has unfortunately already divorced, but we did
help with that part.
Yeah. We did beautiful flowers down at a venue for her and her, you know, husband at that time. And it was, so yes, I would love to get more into that and travel. You know, I would love, my dream place to go to do a wedding, or there's 3 of them. I would love to go to Greece against the white, you know, buildings and that gorgeous water. I would love to do something in Switzerland and Switzerland, Germany. Those are my places that I would love to do a wedding. So.
All right. So all of you brides all over the world, you have an amazing florist that could be, and planner that could be helping you with one of those destination weddings. It's so fun. I mean,
have you done a lot? Have you
I've
done a lot?
I've only done destination weddings my
Well, oh,
whole
because like the one
career.
we're working on is a destination basically
Yes,
for you.
for me. And so it's just, I find that it allows people to pare down their guest list, which is typically why
Yes,
people are looking at destination weddings, because they're either going from that 1,000-person guest list, to try to get it somewhat manageable because they've got big families or so many friends and colleagues. And I just feel like it really sets the tone for a part of who those people are. If they're choosing
right.
a destination and a location that means something to them, you're already like starting out that relationship and that life together somewhere really special, somewhere you can return to on your anniversaries.
Right.
Maybe it's somewhere that family already lives and you've moved away, that becomes
Hmm.
quite popular too. But it's so easy for people to have fun in a destination wedding and to
Right.
extend and make it more of a vacation, which
Right. Right.
everybody wants more of these days.
And
Um,
and with the, if they can ship flowers and, to me here in Florida, they can ship flowers to me in Greece or wherever it might be, and then is it easier for, like, I feel like a lot of photographers get and planners get the destinations and then they maybe use a local florist there. But again, if you don't speak that language and the things, I don't know that you can communicate as well to them. And so that would be a benefit of having a florist and go and do it for you. And all you need is just a location to build and design everything, and you're good to go. So yeah, that is definitely a dream of mine.
it is often challenging for me. I actually, I obviously love to support local business wherever I'm going, but if there becomes a challenge and that local business isn't responding or, um, you know, living up to the expectations that I
Right.
have my clients, which obviously are the highest, this is a very important day in their life, then I will bring my vendors that are willing to travel because it just
Right.
makes everyone's life easier. I have a
Right.
situation in the Bahamas that I was dealing with, and I couldn't get a florist to call me back, and it was really frustrating because again, I like to support local industry. And so, we are bringing in the flowers, we are bringing in the decor for this particular wedding because the bride was also getting frustrated. She's
Right.
like, I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. And
Right.
I don't want to wait either.
Exactly. So yeah, so you'll have to bring me along on the next wedding you do across the
Absolutely.
pond somewhere.
Absolutely. They're so
And
fun. And they,
yeah,
it's just an amazing time to share with someone. And I imagine you probably have some of your favorite locations that you work at locally.
yes.
Want to share any stories or any outside of Penelope, any other really cool things that come to mind that people might be able to get inspired from?
Well, we've also done, again, we like to think outside of the box. So, everybody, especially in venues like the Don Cesar, the Vinoy, any, in our local area that have the 30-foot ceilings and things like that. And obviously, when you have a huge space like that, you want to bring the eye up, and so people can see everything. And it gives you, I love different dimensions and things like that. Well, I think it was at the Vinoy again, we did a double decker arrangement. And so we had this 32, inch trumpet vase loaded with flowers. And then in the center of that was another 24-inch trumpet vase with flowers on the top. So it was really cool. I'll make sure you have a picture of that. So
Okay.
that was, again, a new, unique, different way to do something that has been done so many times, just an elevated arrangement, and take it to the next level. So
Really.
I love it. I love it. And we've done things like, one that comes to mind, at the Don Cesar, again, huge ceilings. We did this huge elevated arrangement, big around almost as the tables, and then we hung, and this has been done a lot, but we hung the different little candles down from the branch, the branches. But we also it was not in their budget to do like cherry blossoms, like a blooming branch. Also, it was the wrong time of year. So what we got a little creative. So again, being able to think outside the box, save a little bit of money, because if we had to have gotten these blossoms, brought in, these branches, it would have blown their budget out of the water, because those things are not cheap. So what we did is we took curly willow, which is a branch for you guys that don't know, and it's curly. So it has a mind of its own, but again, it gives you that unique look. It gives you some whimsy and whimsical, look. So what we did is we glued orchid blooms. So you took a dendrobium orchid and you took off each of the blooms. And so we did have blooming branches, but it was a more affordable way to do it. And so that is, again, just a demonstration of how she wanted one thing, her budget wouldn't allow for that one thing. We came up with a different solution so that it would still give it the effect. And they were very, very pleased with that as well. So, and I know I'm talking about very extravagant. These were thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of flowers in some of these weddings. But we can take that same concept into somebody that only has $3,000 to spend, and we can come up with unique and different things to meet your goals and your needs. So by no means are we ever, it has to be, $40,000 in flowers and up. We work with every price point, but the lower price points is when we have to really be realistic with what you're going to get for that amount of money.
So that's amazing, though, that you are able to, go from that one scale to the other, but also still people with their dream wedding. Just that's what we'd love to do. Is to obviously, when someone comes to us and wants a vision, we always want to try to give it to them. We just have to be realistic about it. And again, obviously, that always comes down to flowers.
And we always say that everybody should feel like Cinderella and a princess on their day. So regardless of what that budget is, you're going to still feel like a princess. You're still going to feel like, Cinderella, and we're going to make it happen. So just, but I think it's very important for all of them to have a realistic idea and goal of what their budget is. I will say that with us doing planning and flowers, we don't require, obviously, that you do both of us. We do just tons of flowers. We do just tons of planning, and with no flowers, that is absolutely fine. But I will say the benefit of having us locally as both planner and flowers, we know from the minute they walk in the door, their concept for both sides of things. So we get that we get their flower concerns, we get their needs, and we understand how the whole thing is going to be laid out. So that is a little unique in our area. There are not a lot of, in our local market here in St. Pete, there are not a lot of planners and florists doing the same thing. So
nice. It's nice that you offer both of those. And the other thing that's nice too is that in that role, someone comes to you with a vision, and as a planner, I always try to steer them in a venue that helps with their decor and their vision, so that it offsets the cost a little bit on other things. A lot of times someone will pick a venue first, and then they tell you their vision and their color palette, and it's fighting with the venue.
Right.
And I think we could make a better decision or choice here, unless it's obviously something that's like heartfelt to them and they're just have their heart set on it. But that is the nice thing for you, is you get the big picture straight away.
Yeah. So, and we have an amazing team. I mean, I used to do, trust me, when we started out 8 years ago, I had a home office. I'm working from home today because our shop is so busy and the phones are ringing and people, come and ask me 70,000 questions within, a 10-minute span. So we decided to, stay home today to do the podcast. But from the very beginning, I had a home office, and my husband built a flower cooler in our garage. So in 8 years, we not only, grew, we purchased a florist because my husband and I did all the flowers for everything. And I did the planning. So I have worked extremely hard to get to where I am today. And I have had my hand in every step of it. But now I can do more of the things that as an admin and the administration and an owner, and try to build and grow and get more business, because I have an amazing team of girls. You've met Christine. She is our lead manager and planner. She is unbelievable. She reminds me of things that I didn't even remember, so I could not do this job without her and all of my girls. And then our designers, with Randy and Cassie and all of their knowledge and input. They have just, it takes a village, and it does, because, when I was working out of my garage and home office, I maybe had, 15, I started out maybe my first year, 15, 20 weddings a year. I also was working a full-time job. And then it got to where that number was, now I was at 50, and then we were at 60. And then it was like, holy cow, I am doing so many flowers. We either stay dormant and not ever grow, or it's time to buy a florist and actually have the space. So one came available. We loved it. And, 8 years later, we are doing and living the dream. It is amazing.
It's so nice when you get to do what you love every day.
It is.
Right? Like
It is.
And just, my visits with my clients to florists always makes me so happy, because I love flowers. Just the smell of them and seeing people put them together.
Yeah.
And even like in your studio, I remember looking at the pink. We're using it for one of the weddings. It's the pink spray. Like it looks sweet to me.
Pampas, like the Pampasy spray. Yeah, those different dried flowers and stuff.
So pretty the way those things are being added in. And if you don't go into the florist, you might not be able to see all of those options that you offer people. And so
and that is another thing too, is because we're pretty large, one of the largest in our area. We love to show them flowers. Now, we might not have every flower that they want in their wedding. I would say 8 out of 10 girls don't even know the names of most of these flowers. So it's so great to go and pull flowers and educate them, show them what it might look. Because we're doing so many weddings, we've had lots of brides actually be in the office while we're making some other bride's bouquet, and they're able to hold it and see the size. And so we love to educate. And that is what I think we in this industry need to do to our couples, because they've never done this. Their parents, have maybe never done this, and they don't have a clue on what they're doing. But for our girls and guys, I love it when they can come in and touch and feel and see. We can go to the cooler, show them the size of a rose, or, because they don't understand, they don't know. So we've got to help them out and teach them how to do it.
Yeah, that's what we're here to do. We literally hope that everyone watching's wedding goes just as planned. And, if we can help you in any way, or you have questions, please reach out to us. You're going to have all of Melanie's contact information at Lemon Drop as well. She's in St. Pete, Florida in the USA, but you just heard her on here. She's willing to travel.
Yes, I am.
Thanks so much, Melanie. It's so good to talk with you. And I look forward to our wedding coming up in just a couple months now.
Yes, it's going to be great. And thank you. And just to everyone listening, we just, ask the right questions, make sure you have communication skills. That is so important. If somebody doesn't get back to you within a few days, then think again about hiring them. We need communication, and that's what you deserve. And we want to give that to you. So
Absolutely.
good luck with everything out there, everybody.
Thank you. I'll see you again soon.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.